Shalom to everybody. Welcome to Tantur in Jerusalem, the eternal capital of the Jewish people. I'm happy to open the conference on China in the Middle East and in Africa. This conference is co-organized with the University of Notre Dame and three bodies there: the Keough School of Global Affairs, Notre Dame International, the Notre Dame International Security Center. It's about China. China is a rising power. There are many Chinese in the world, and as we know, its regime is not very transparent, and this conference maybe will help us understand some of the foreign policy choices they are making in our region and in Africa. The planning for this conference started about a year ago, something like that. We worked very hard, and I want to give special thanks to Professor Joshua Eisenman of Notre Dame and Tuvia Gering from the Jerusalem Institute for Strategy and Security for their efforts in organizing this conference. It is hard work, and I commend them for putting together a very nice conference. And now I'd like to invite for greetings Dr. Daniel Schwacke. He is director of the University of Notre Dame at Tantur. Please.
Thank you. So I took a stopper. It takes me 2.5 minutes to do these greetings. I promise basically not to take too much time from the more important stuff that will come afterwards. Welcome. Welcome to what we affectionately know as Tantur, what has been the home for the Tantur Ecumenical Institute for Theological Studies for over 50 years, and is also the home for one of the 12 international centers of the University of Notre Dame, or what we refer to as the University of Notre Dame on Tantur. More than 50 years ago, the Vatican charged the university to administer the Tantur Ecumenical Institute to spearhead academic and spiritual initiatives around the ecumenical discourse within the various Christian denominations and to steward the important interfaith dialogue between the different religions. Established in 2018 as an integral part of Notre Dame International's global network, the University of Notre Dame on Tantur has been aspiring to be an entrepreneurial, diverse, and influential academic platform that leaves a positive and lasting impact on the region through a menu of initiatives that also offer opportunities for Notre Dame students and faculty to explore and learn in Jerusalem and the wider region. Over 1,000 people leverage the different offerings of the two centers per year. Of that number, over 100 students and faculty from Notre Dame use our platform in their various undergraduate, graduate, and research activities per year. We're also honored to serve an increasing number of scholars and learners through our various programs, including our residential offerings to students from all universities. We believe to have designed a unique offering for Arabic and Hebrew languages that leverage this beautiful learning and atmosphere, and are honored to work, amongst others, with diplomats from the State Department and members of the U.S. Department of Defense. With two new initiatives, one around reimagining business excellence in the MENA region, and one in software engineering / coding, we seek to increase our local and regional outreach to the business and nonprofit community, as well as to all our neighbors and residents of the larger Jerusalem metropolitan area. Dear friends from the Jerusalem Institute for Strategy and Security, dear Professor Rimba, dear colleagues from the University of Notre Dame, especially Professor Eisenman, dear guests, please know that it is an honor and privilege for us to host this very timely conference in China, in the Middle East, and Africa. I'm sure I speak also on behalf of my colleague, Gabriel Mitchell, Director of Undergraduate Studies here in Jerusalem, that we're both humbled to participate, to listen and to learn from this group of distinguished scholars, and to think What is it that we, as the long arm of the university here, can do to support this timely and central topic? Please allow me to welcome my colleague from Notre Dame International, Senior Assistant Provost for Internationalization, Jonathan Noble, to say a couple of words. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel. Notre Dame International is committed to advancing international scholarship and research cooperation. University of Notre Dame at Tantur is one of 12 of the university's international centers throughout the world. Notre Dame International administers centers in Latin America, Europe, Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. I would like to thank all of the conference participants, including attendees and presenters, for joining this important conference. Notre Dame International enthusiastically supports this conference for a number of reasons. First, the topic of China's influence in the world is not just important and relevant, but it is also increasingly urgent. Second, this topic requires collective global intelligence and global understanding. And at this conference, we have brought together scholars and experts from around the world. Lastly, we will not end here with this conference. Before the conference, or after, I should say, after the conference was envisioned, Russia invaded Ukraine. As a response to this, the University of Notre Dame invited the president of the university, the Catholic University of Ukraine, to give our commencement speech for the class of 2022, and also honored the president with an honorary doctorate degree. We established an important new fund that would support the students and faculty of the Ukrainian Catholic University. Notre Dame International is committed to growing international partnerships, supporting international research and conversation on important topics like this one, in order to advance the university's mission to promote understanding and solidarity. This conference would not be possible without the important role that UNDT is playing, and also the very important partnership with JISS. And it would not be possible without the leadership and vision of Professor Josh Eisenman, who has led this initiative and envisioned this conference and these conversations. So I would like to invite Professor Josh Eisenman to offer his remarks at the beginning of the conference.
Well, it's wonderful to finally be here. After so many weeks and months of planning, to finally see your faces is a great accomplishment, even before we begin. But I just want to say three quick things before we can move on to our panelists, which you've all come for, and not to hear necessarily our introductory remarks. But we are here, as Jonathan said, to discuss this essential topic of China's engagement in the world in Africa, in the Middle East, and in the global South writ large. And this is a topic which I have been working on for many years. I know many of you have as well. And it just gratifies me to see that this topic has really blossomed into a topic that is on the front covers of newspapers all around the world. And so it went from kind of a secondary issue to a primary issue. And so today we're going to talk about this with some of the greatest minds in the field and an amazingly diverse group that Jonathan hinted at. We've got people here who have flown in from Pakistan, people from China, people who come from London, from Ghana. We've got older, we've got younger, we've got male, we've got women, we've got Israelis. We've got an amazing group of people. So I'm so happy you're here to join us for that. Jonathan began and everyone began to thank several folks, but there's a couple of folks who some who are here, some who aren't, that I really want to add to the list because they're the kind of the Holy Spirits who have done so much great work for this conference. The first, as all of our participants know, Miss Laurie Roberts, who is sitting in South Bend right now, well, sleeping probably, but she's just done a fantastic job to organize, and she's been in contact with all of you. Grigor, who is not here, has done an amazing job here at the facility. Gabby Mitchell has kind of quarterbacked this thing, so thank you so much. Of course, Daniel, your support has been essential. And as Jonathan noted, we are brought here with the funding of the University of Notre Dame, but different elements within it, primarily the NDI, Notre Dame International. And Jonathan, who leads Notre Dame International, has shown great vision in supporting all manner of conferences. And I can just refer to one. I see Professor Wang Guanyong from Shanghai International Studies University. We, as I understand, were one of the only U.S. universities to co-host a conference with a Chinese university, and this was sponsored by NDI. So there is a vision here. This is not a one-off event, as Jonathan mentioned. Of course, INDIS, which is our security folks, and of course the Keough School of Global Affairs, where I am a professor. But the man with the plan, Tuvia Gehring, needs to be recognized again because he has done such a fantastic job, and we're just thrilled, to see. Frankly, when I see his work, I'm just so enthusiastic because it's really bringing so much new to the field. So I can't wait to see what's next for him. And then, the final thing I'll say, and this is just a kind of a broad statement. We're going to be saying a lot here today, and some of it you're going to agree with, and some of it you're not. And if you don't, that's great. In fact, we learn often when we are talking to people that we disagree with. But no matter what we do, no matter what is said, we're always going to be civil and respectful. And this is kind of the credo of Notre Dame. We are going to learn from each other. And even if we learn that we disagree, that's okay. In fact, it can actually be more helpful than if we are all singing from the same songbook. And so that's all I have to say for now. You'll hear from me later. But the important thing is that we're all here, and I want to turn now, if I can, to the first panel, and we can step off the stage, and you guys can hear from some true experts about our topic. So, thank you.